Welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Yeasir. I'll be your examiner for this part of the test. This is the speaking test of the International English Language Testing System taking place on Thursday, the 11th July at TESOL IELTS Exam Center. Center number BD 361, the candidate is Lamia, Rahman, Roza, and the candidate number is 43321. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What is your full name?
Lamia, Rahman, Roza.
Okay, and what should I call you?
Please call me Lamia.
Lamia, good. May I see your identification, please?
Yes, sure, you may.
Thank you very much. Okay, Lamia, here is your identification back. And I'm going to record this test for evaluation purposes. The speaking test has 3 parts, I'll give you instructions for each part of the test. For part 1, I'd like to get to know a little about yourself and ask you some questions on general topics. We'll talk about computer.
Okay.
Do you often use a computer?
Well, not really, but I do have a laptop, and I think I get all of my works done in my laptop because I think it is so feasible to use and I can use it anywhere and everywhere, and it's also portable. So yeah, I prefer using a laptop over a desktop computer.
How do you usually get online?
Well, I usually get online via my mobile phone because I think I can carry it anywhere and it's just a small thing to carry. So yeah, I have all of my social media handles over there and I can just easily go online by using my mobile phone.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about leisure activity.
Yeah, sure.
What's your favorite leisure activity?
Well, my favorite leisure activity would be writing different things in my journals because I believe that if I write different things and if I can express my feelings and sentiments and whatever it is, like I want to talk about my feelings and I want to share it with someone. Since I am more comfortable sharing it with my diary and my journal, so I usually write all my feelings over there, and I think it just makes me naturally very happy after doing that. So yeah, that is my favorite thing to do.
Okay. What did you like to do in your spare time as a child?
Well, I think as a child I was very curious, I was mischievous, I was a naughty child. So most of the times I used to play with my different kinds of dolls, and I remember I used to act like I'm a doctor, and then I used to play with other kids of my age, and then we used to play different kinds of roles. For example, sometimes it was about being a doctor, sometimes it was about being a teacher, and then we used to play different kinds of games, and that was the best part. Like, we had so many games back then. And yeah, so these are the kind of activities I would love to do back in my earlier days.
Do you like to spend your free time with other people or alone?
Well, that's an interesting question, but I guess when it comes to my personal opinion, there are many activities that I love to do alone because I believe I am a lone wolf and I'm a one-man army, because every time I'm going through something, every time I'm feeling something, I believe I need to process them by my own, and by feeling comes healing. So I am the kind of person who just wants to be all by herself, and I want to explore different kinds of places by myself. So I would prefer staying all alone and do things on my own.
Okay. Do most people in your nation have 2 days off a week?
Yes, in our nation there are 2 days off, which is a Friday and a Saturday. And I think after long and busy days of working and studying, they finally get some time off and they can reflect back on their life, and they just can do really fun activities and they can really make the most of their time. So yeah, those are.
Do you think leisure time activity is important?
I think absolutely, because at the end of the day, if they do not have their peace of mind, they will lose all their sanity. And I think leisure time activities are so important because it gives them their peace of mind. And after a long and hectic day of work, I think every human just deserves it. And no one wants to work like 24/7. Like, they really need to focus on what's going on, and they sometimes need to spend time with their family and their friends. So I guess it is very important.
Okay. Let's talk about weather.
Okay.
What type of weather do you prefer the most?
Well, I think I'm the kind of person who's always dependent on weather. It's like my mood changes like every 2 seconds, like whenever there's a change in the weather. So I would personally prefer a cozy, cold day because I love winters and I just love to dress up in winter. And I think I am the kind of person who loves the concept of just grabbing a cup of coffee and then just feeling the chills around me. And I think it is so perfect if you can take a walk in an amazing winter day, because it just makes your soul soothe and you can just really vibe around. So I think that is my perfect kind of weather.
What is the weather like in your hometown?
Well, I think the weather in my hometown is mostly a combination of both hot and cold. Sometimes when it's like really summer, then it gets really, really hot, and like people suffer a lot in those times because they're always sweaty and sometimes they have to cook and a lot of pressures. However, when it's winter, it's very cold, like they literally shiver and tremble all the time. So I think it is a dichotomy. However, I think it is good in a sense because they can really enjoy different kinds of weather. So mostly it's the summer, like the hot and the cold versions of weather.
Do you prefer dry or wet weather?
Well, I would rather prefer a dry weather because sometimes if it's wet, it is like a hassle for me to go to different kinds of places. Sometimes it is very muddy and it makes our clothes dirty, and sometimes it just gets really moisty and greasy, and I really don't like that. So I think if it's dry and if it's calm and if it's cold, then it's a perfect weather to just hang around and go to different places.
Okay. That is the end of part 1. Now we'll continue with part 2.
Okay.
For part 2, here is a cue card I'm going to give you a
Okay.
little later with some questions, and you cannot turn that over till I tell you to. Here is a special paper for you. I mean, it's a note paper. You can take notes if you wish to for 1 minute. Okay? And here's a pencil for you. And the cue card I'm going to give you. You have to describe an exciting book. You have to describe an exciting book that you recently read. Please tell me when you read it, what type of books it is or they are, why you found it exciting. So here is your card, and I'll tell you the starting and ending time of your note taking. So your note taking time starts now. Okay, Lamia, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please start speaking.
All right, so an exciting book that I recently read was Looking for Alaska. It was not really that recent, but it was back in 2016, and I would still call it a recent book that genuinely amazed me, since we're talking about an exciting book. So I loved the book so much because it is so amazing, and the book was a different kind of book. For example, it was adventurous, it was about teen love and romance, and it was also about the complexities of human life, because we are all extremely biased on stories that has a happy ending, and we want it to be that way. But John Green is a distinctive type of author. Like, he focuses more on certain stuff, and he keeps it extremely raw and authentic and practical, and sometimes mind-boggling. Like, I never expected it to be that way, but it turned out to be completely opposite from the way I thought it to be. So I guess that was the best part of this book, that it was unexpected. It was really amazing to read, and the most important part was it was easy for me to understand. So if I have to define this book in a particular way, then I would say Looking for Alaska is an iconic book, definitely, because it's the New York Best Times, the bestseller book. And I think it is tragic, it is sad, it is heart-wrenching, it is beautiful, but then again, it is so painful. But it also made me realize in one thing, which is, at the end of the day, pain creates art. And I think it was something about this book that it was painful, but it was also really marvelous at the same time. I had a lot of questions on my mind, because what happened at the end of the day? There were so many suspenses, and it was really going to a different direction, a different dimension. The constant dilemma that I had to go through was mind-boggling. So I guess, that was the best thing about this book.
Okay, Rosa, I'm going to stop you there. Your 2-minute speaking time is up.
Okay.
Please pass back the note paper, the cue card, and the pencil, please. Thank you. And now we will continue with part 3.
Okay.
For part 3, I'm going to ask you some more questions related to the topic of part 2. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Do people in your nation like to read books?
I think people in my nation, they are very big bookworms. I think they love to read books, and they admire different kinds of authors, because every year in 21st February we have a book fair where different authors, the readers, and different intellectuals, they come and meet. It's basically a meet and greet session. So you can already understand that how much people love to read books, and it's a huge crowd. You cannot even imagine. Like, there are so many people, they're sharing their different interests, they're talking about philosophy and books, and there's so many books, and there's so many writers in our country. So I guess, yes, in my nation, book reading is an amazing thing.
What books are most popular in your country?
Well, I think it has to be about the genre romance, because I think people love to fall in love here, and they want to read more about how the complexities of relationships happen and how they can overcome it. However, there are certain genres that writers are introducing with our nation, which is the psychological thriller, the philosophy behind different kinds of thrilling actions. And I also believe that they really love to read books about different kinds of mystery or detective books. So these are also quite popular, because if we talk about Feluda, we have seen how much response it got. So I think people love to read this kind of books in my country as well.
Do you think reading is important? Why or why not?
I think reading is absolutely important, because at the end of the day, reading makes us more knowledgeable, witty, and a smart person. And we will have a lot of knowledge about different kinds of things from a different angle. So I guess reading is so important, and it enhances our brain and our thought process, because we think in a different way. Like, I believe that people really need to wire their mindset and their thought process, and they need to think about certain stuff in order to understand something, right? So I guess, yes, reading is very helpful when it comes to enriching our brain.
Do you think that giving a book as a gift is a good option?
I think it is the best option, because if someone gave a book to me in my birthdays, and if I really loved the book, then I would have definitely blessed them their whole life, because if it's a good book, it will stay with you forever. And something that stays with you forever means it is precious, right? So I guess if a book is really amazing, and if it touches my heart, and if I can relate with the book, then I think it is such a precious thing to give someone as a gift. Other than that, I believe if they read these kind of books, and which is given to them from a special person. It also contains lots of memories. So I guess, yeah, it is a very good gift.
Do you think that children should be encouraged to read books?
I think children should be encouraged to read books, because if they can grow by, they will grow up as a different kind of person, because if they like to read more books, they will know more, and they will definitely understand certain things from a young age, because I believe reading is a kind of habit that they should master from their childhood. And if they can master it, they will grow up as someone who is really intellectual and who has a vision for certain things. And this vision, I'm telling you, is so important in life. So I guess children should grow up with this kind of amazing habit.
Which one do you prefer? Reading books online or reading a paperback book?
Well, I think reading books online is a good option that they have introduced, and we can literally read books from different kinds of PDF files. However, I feel like the smell of the book when we first get them and the way we read it, it's just perfect. But when it's an online book, there's so much hassles, like you need to scroll and then go for it. I, as a bookworm, wouldn't like the experience. I would love to read a fresh, like the fresh first copy of it, and I would probably love that concept. So I think I love anything that is old school. So yes, I would prefer these kind of old books, which is handwritten or printed, rather than an online book. So yeah.
Okay. Reading online is getting popular.
Okay.
What is your opinion? What can happen in the near future in terms of reading?
Well, I believe that if people are reading online, then yes, they have a lot of options, because at the end of the day, the world is changing and we are coming into an era where we are using a lot of technologies, and we can literally carry our technologies everywhere because we carry a mobile phone. So they cannot carry a book all day long, for example, because if they're at work, then it just doesn't seem feasible. But if they are carrying a phone and if they have the book in that phone in the PDF style, then they can just read it anywhere. And I think, yeah, it is good if they are developing this habit. At least instead of using their precious time on social media, they can just read a book and make the proper use of their time, because knowledge is power at the end of the day.
Okay. That is the end of part 3, and that concludes your speaking portion of the IELTS exam. You will have your results in about 2 weeks' time with the other portions of the test. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, dear viewers, আমরা যে রেকর্ডটা করলাম, এটা আমাদের একটি আইএলটিএস এর স্পিকিং মডিউলের কমপ্লিট একটা কোর্স আমরা রেকর্ড করছি। উই আর অলমোস্ট ডান অ্যাকচুয়ালি, এই ভিডিওটা দিয়ে শেষ হচ্ছে। তো এখানে টোটাল 83 লেসন্স থাকছে। তো 25 লেসন্স থাকছে পার্ট 1 এর উপরে, 25 লেসন্স থাকছে পার্ট 2 এর উপরে, 25 লেসন্স থাকছে পার্ট 3 এর উপরে, এবং 11 ফুল লেংথ মক টেস্ট থাকছে, যেমন একটা আমরা এখানে স্যাম্পল দেখালাম। এবং রোজা এবং আমি এই মডিউলটা রেডি করেছি। রোজা ইজ অ্যান আইএলটিএস ইনস্ট্রাক্টর এট TESOL বাংলাদেশ, এবং আমরা বেসিকের উপরে আমাদের 7 লেসন্স রয়েছে।
Exactly, like the note taking, details, every precise information নিয়ে আমরা হার্ড ওয়ার্ক করেছি।
স্পিকিং এর উপরে হয়নি।
If I'm just being honest, and if I don't want to brag, I would be very honest today. Well, I think this is the best course Bangladesh has ever launched, because আমরা এত effort দিয়েছি, আমরা এত বেশি effort দিয়েছি. I guess we didn't sleep for 10 days and we were working on contents because we care for you. আমরা আপনাদের কথা চিন্তা করি, because there are so many people, they want to go abroad and have a better life, but they don't know how to get a perfect band score. So what are you waiting for? And I believe it won't just make them a perfect IELTS candidate, it will make you a charismatic person.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
যখন আপনি কথা বলবেন, naturally people will be very attracted the way you speak, because আমরা এভাবেই আমাদের কোর্সগুলো ডিজাইন করেছি।
এবং সবচেয়ে আমরা রিসার্চ করে আমরা যে জিনিসটা দিয়েছি, যে আমরা বলেছিলাম যে নোট টেকিং এ কিন্তু খুব সমস্যা হয়।
True.
সো নোট টেকিং এ 1 মিনিটে কি নোট নিতে হবে, আমরা 25টা পার্ট 2 তে এবং এখানে 11টা ফুল লেংথে, তার মানে প্রায় 40 কাছাকাছি টেস্টের নোটটাও আমরা দিয়ে দিয়েছি ভিডিও।
আমার কথা হচ্ছে যে if I'm just being a little informal today, আমরা নোটটা কিভাবে নিতে হবে যে আপনি কি ফুল সেন্টেন্সটা লিখলে কিন্তু আপনি সেটা 1 মিনিটে জাস্ট একটা লাইনই লিখতে পারবেন, হাইয়েস্ট 1-2টা লাইন, পরে তারপর দেখা যাবে যে আপনি ব্ল্যাঙ্ক হয়ে গিয়েছেন আপনি কি বলবেন। সেই জন্য কিভাবে বুলেট পয়েন্টসে নোট নিতে হবে আমরা কিন্তু সেটাতেও ফোকাস করেছি।
মানে নোটটা দিয়েই দিয়েছি আমরা
এক্স্যাক্টলি, পুরোটা দিয়ে দিয়েছি, and I'm pretty much like I'm confident that no one has like ever done it
Yeah.
before, so
এবং আপনার এই
great thing.
কোর্সটি ভালো লাগলে আমাদের আরো 3টে যে মডিউল আছে
Yes.
সেগুলো আপনারা কালেক্ট করবেন। আপনাদের টিচার আসলে দরকার নেই, এটা এমন ভাবে তৈরি করেছি আমরা দোয়া চাই এবং স্টুডেন্টরা খুব আশা করে কোর্সগুলো কেনে, কিন্তু বেশিরভাগ ক্ষেত্রে আমরা দেখি they get disappointed.
Exactly, they get
here
exactly
no chance.
no chance.
এবং আরো একটা জিনিস বলে রাখি, আমাদের আইএলটিএস স্পিকিং মডেলের উপরে অডিও সহ একদম ফুল লেংথ অডিও সহ 100 টেস্টস এর অডিও সহ আমাদের একটা বই আসছে, আমরা দুজনে এটা লিখছি। তো এটা ঈদের পরেই ইনশাল্লাহ চলে আসবে। সো ওই বইটা যাতে টেক্সট সহ পাবেন, আর এই ভিডিও কোর্স ইনাফ মোর দ্যান
Enough for you to go.
সো আইএলটিএস এর কথা চিন্তা করলে টেসল বাংলাদেশ কি চিন্তা করুন, we really serve as students.
And the best thing about us is that we are really authentic. People will have a lot of questions যে সত্যি আউটকাম পাবো তো, আমি বলে দিচ্ছি সত্যি আউটকাম and best results পাবেন।
Inshallah.
So inshallah, and I hope to see you guys. Stay tuned with us for a better
Right. And thanks
and an
for
amazing
watching our
future.
live as well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.